Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. I'm back with another tutorial. Today we're going to look at a favorite mode of mine. Now it's a little complicated because it's a mode of the ascending melodic minor. We'll break it down and it's really not hard and it's spooky beautiful. Meanwhile, I want to say that Terrain, my new album, is out. It's been really rewarding and delightful to see the positive feedback I've gotten on this album. I'm very proud of it. You can stream it here on YouTube, buy it at Bandcamp, listen on Spotify, Apple Music. It's available on iTunes, the entire drill. Simple release. It's music for gentle action, contemplation. I'm an ambient composer. It's kind of just what you'd expect. And I've already done tutorials on every track. Well, it's great to be done with that. Let's jump into some more nuts and bolts, the fundamentals of music making. Okay, so here we are in the DAW, and I'm just going to start it running because I want to talk about some basics first, because if we haven't got vocabulary, I think it's actually going to be challenging to discuss any of this stuff. I like to tell my students that the major scale, the conventional European major scale, which consists of 7 tones, is made of 2 4-note groups. That's the first 4-note group, and this is the second 4-note group. You may be able to see that they both are whole step, half step groups. Those 2 groups are joined by a whole step, and we call a 4-note group like that a tetrachord. Well, tetrachords are incredibly useful for building scales because we could manipulate the individual tetrachords and create new versions of them. Now, I'm going to say that probably the single most important thing about a tetrachord is where the half step is. Here's a tetrachord that goes whole step, half step. That's the conventional one that we teach, but couldn't we also have a tetrachord that goes half step, whole step, whole step? Sure. There's lots of possibilities. In fact, the mathematical possibilities are part of the study of music theory. Well, the major scale that we create from this fusion of 2 tetrachords has a pattern. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. And it leads to a conventional string of triads, which we associate with the key, and a very important interval. And that interval is a collapsed fifth or an expanded fourth. We call it a tritone. In a major scale, the tritone is between the 4th step and the 7th step. And it has a very specific sound. And that sound, probably the most important thing about it, is that 7th step has a feeling of leaning towards going home to the tonic. We've been taught to hear that way. There's nothing intrinsically powerful about that syntax. That is to say, it's not built into the nature of the physics of sound. It's not built into our brain and ears, physiology and neurology. It's cultural practice. Well, one of the great things about cultural practice is it can be broken down. And so the use of modes, or using a major scale or any scale in a way that maybe it wasn't originally conventionally utilized, is super fun. And major scale modes are great for us. This scale here, for instance, which begins on the second step of the major scale and goes up, has a minor third, a flat 7, its 6th degree is major, and then the 5 chord is minor. Well, you get this beautiful possibility for progressions. We don't want this to last forever. So let's suffice it to say that the single most important thing about modes is where the half step lives in it. Where the half step, which creates a leading tone, and also the tritone interval, which is so important, where that half step falls in the scale. Well, let's look at another scale. And this scale here is one that's called the ascending melodic minor. Now, what makes a melodic minor scale groovy? Well, let's just see. So the melodic minor scale has a minor third, a natural 6th, a major 6th, and a natural or major 7th. I'll play it again. So just like the major scale, the ascending melodic minor has modes. Let's look at the 5th mode of the ascending melodic minor. I'm taking the melodic minor from the G minor scale. So here we go. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C, back to D. As I was considering this scale, I thought to myself, I'll make a little piece. I want to hear what things sound like. And I started just playing repeated figurations within the scale, and a little something emerged. So let's just loop this and listen to it. We're just looking at the piano part, but there are other tracks. That feels very much kind of D major. And there we're not sure, maybe A minor. I love that spooky moment with the B flat and the G. You can hear on the top, I've added some bells from the new instrument Imagine. Beautiful sounding modeled instrument. There's a second piano kind of perseverating away, emphasizing the same note over and over again, the G, which is the home note of the parent scale, but not really part of the chord. And then down at the bottom, a low plucked bass on D. This approach to harmony and to arranging is deceptive because it gives the impression of being shifting chords, but the net result is very static. What we're doing is exploring the landscape of this mode. The scale has a layout, and at any given time, I'm just going to stop this, look at it vertically, there may be as many as 4 or 5 tones, different tones, from the scale at once. And since every pattern is moving within a couple of beats, we're always hearing every note in the mode. And the net experience is to feel like we're sitting in what I call a sonority, or just a kind of a landscape of sound. And the terrain of that landscape is described by the mode. But our focus is shifted and sort of contained by the music that we've written. Now, I love this sound, and it's kind of not for all markets, but it's sort of where I live. Modes are a powerful tool for creating new sounds. We have tools at our disposal now that previous composers would have given their little finger for. we can get new sounds by getting new instruments, and it can be very exciting to do that. Getting new sounds by looking a little bit deeper into the structure of scales can be also very exciting. In fact, it's something that's available to you with a little research and a little application. New sounds can be the result of just melodic and harmonic planning. An exciting technique to explore the modes of the ascending melodic minor, to explore the mathematical combinations possible with paired tetrachords, and to find kind of a new voice, a voice that's more particularly yours. That's what my hope is for you and for my students, and really for myself as well. Well, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe. Check out the new album, Terrain. It's on Bandcamp, Spotify, all the streaming services. I'd love to hear what's up for you right now, what you're working on. And I'll see you next time.